All right, great. I will send you those pictures now, and it's for the... Good morning, and thanks for joining us on After GMS. I'm Tracy McCain in the studio. Taran Kirksey is working from home. Stacy, okay. Well, I was going to do the roll call. Doesn't really make sense to do that. It is the two of us holding it down. Love that our friends are able to be off and enjoy some time with their families. That sacrifice. Taran, you do it so well.
Thank you. I did bring some guests, though. Hold on, let me see if I
see.
can pick her up. So here's Summer.
Oh, hi,
Right
Summer.
here. And Stormy's down here laying down, and she's much bigger, so I couldn't lift her up. But she's right here, too.
At least we got to see Summer. How cute are they? Well, at least you have some friends with you to keep you company while you're working from home.
Yeah, you know, and they are definitely not fans of the heat. And so, unfortunately, it's going to be another hot one. So let's talk about the weather really quickly here. Check it out. It's going to be hot and muggy for the next 7 days, and we'll see rain chances from time to time. At least the chance of rain today is going to be a little bit higher than it has been. So I'm expecting scattered showers, thunderstorms to develop this afternoon. So that'll cool things down for some of us. But if you don't see the rain this afternoon, it's just going to be a very, very hot day. Once you factor in humidity, it's going to feel more like it's close to the upper 90s to possibly even close to 100 degrees. So again, if you do have pets, not a good idea to walk during the afternoon or anything like that. Try to get those walks done early in the morning or after the sun is starting to set and things are a little bit cooler.
Keyword would be cooler. All right, well, the state will continue to pause in the Safer at Home Phase 2 reopening plan for 3 more weeks. WFMY News 2's Candace Redd breaks down the state's updated plan to flatten the COVID-19 curve.
North Carolina is taking a 3-phase approach to reopen the economy and slow the spread of COVID-19. And we know that it's all based on data from testing, tracing, and trend. Well, let's start from the very beginning. We know that Governor Roy Cooper issued a statewide stay-at-home order. Remember, this all happened back on March 30th. We all remember that. It banned gatherings of more than 10 people and directed everyone to stay at least 6 feet apart from others. About 6 weeks later, North Carolina entered phase 1 of the state's reopening plan. Now, even though the stay-at-home order remained in place, residents were allowed to leave home for essential and non-essential services. The state then moved into phase 2 of the Safer at Home plan 2 weeks later, which lifted the stay-at-home order. Now, phase 2 was set to expire today at 5 p.m., but Governor Roy Cooper recently extended phase 2 until at least August 7th. Well, taking a look at your screen, under the phase 2 extension, face coverings are required in public places with some exceptions. The mass gathering limit is 10 people indoors and 25 people outdoors. And certain businesses are open, but with tight restrictions. That includes restaurants, child care centers, pools, and hair shops. Now, when it comes to public playgrounds, movie theaters, museums, bars, nightclubs, those places are still closed. Again, phase 2 will be in place until data shows that the state is ready and prepared to move forward. And what does that look like? Well, again, Governor Roy Cooper says that it will be phase 3, and he says that it will most likely ease restrictions on businesses and increase the mass gathering limit. But for more details on this, all you have to do is visit our website. That's WFMYnews2.com. There you can find the full list as it relates to all 3 phases and more information on the coronavirus pandemic.
All right, that brings us right into our first conversation this morning. Now that Governor Cooper has hit the pause button on phase 3 again, we want to know, what do you think? Were you expecting it? Were you surprised by the announcement? Let us know. Keep jotting down some ideas here in our comment section, and I'm going to get to some comments that we've pulled from Facebook. Angela says, not surprised, not mad, not disappointed. Jim says, great idea. Phase 1 would have been okay too. Cynthia says, expected. I'm very surprised that we didn't go back to phase 1. All right. For me, in my mind, phase 1 was not an option because it was just so strict. But at the same time, I have been doing everything that, the CDC and, our state leaders have told us to do. So for me, it was like, I just didn't want that to happen. But I do understand the phase 2 extension, especially since the numbers aren't where state leaders have said that they need to be in order to move to phase 3. So while you guys are commenting, let's see what you think, Taran. Were you surprised or were you expecting the extension?
I was kind of expecting it. I mean, when you look at what's happening in many states across the country, it's about a par for the course. Even Alabama issued a mask mandate the other day, so did Arkansas. So this isn't, any one party or any one state, kind of taking these steps. It's very much an issue that all the states and really the entire world's dealing with right now. So not surprised at all. Hopefully, we get the numbers back down, because if things increase and go in the wrong direction in a major way the next couple of weeks, it's not out of the question that we could go back to phase 1. And I don't think that's something that anybody wants.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not out of the question. But let's make that like a last resort, in my opinion. Of course, you guys have your own and you're weighing in, and I'm going to read some of those right now. Trey says, going back to phase 1. Trey, come on. Jennifer wants to know, will the governor extend the pandemic utility cutoff security that ends at the end of the month? That is a great question. I have not heard that extension is happening. I heard that ends at the end of the month as planned, but if it does change, I will let you know. Let's see. Oh, thank you for the compliment on my dress. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to find some responses here. Denise says she did expect the extension, but what she didn't expect was the plan B for schools. Jason Hutchins says, yes, when the percentage wasn't around 5% like they have been wanting. And Tamrika says it's scary out with the virus. I'm glad we're going to stay in phase 2. Denise Holt Mitchell said, responded because I asked her, what plan did you expect? And she said plan C, which was the all virtual option for schools. Ruth Richardson gets us back on topic here. She says, I thought he would go back to phase 1, so staying in phase 2 was no surprise. The surprise will be if he ever goes to phase 3. Heather Harness says, I expected it. I wouldn't be surprised if we get back to phase 1 because of people not wearing masks and protecting others. So Linda says, I think it's very responsible. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of different opinions here. And Chris wants us to release the data, or at least the state to release the data, because it says we need to be informed on these numbers, which are available on the state health department's website. I think it's ncdhhs.com that you can go and you can look at the numbers for yourself. And then we have Megan and Chad, our verified team, who break down those numbers and really analyze them. I just read the numbers, I'll be honest. I don't do any calculating of the numbers, analyzing of the numbers. I literally just read them because I am not a numbers person. But Chad and Megan are, and so I leave it to them as part of our verifying team to do that. You're also part of the number crew, Taran, and can analyze and crunch numbers, unlike me.
Yeah, we kind of just, I think it's very good that they do release the data daily, and people can see essentially the rate of change, the percentage, like how much is this going up. And as far as the raw data, to me, the raw numbers that are kind of the most important, obviously are fatalities or deaths, but also, number of ventilators in use, number of intensive care beds that are available, that type of thing. But as far as the spread, you really want to look at that rate of change, and it's been above 5%, and that's why we're still stuck in phase 2.
Mm-hmm. And then just a few more comments here before we move into our next stuff. Melissa said, being who he is, I'm surprised he didn't go into lockdown. SA says, phase 2 is what is best. We must be responsible and wear our masks. And IZ Bank says, and I hope there's a cure to get rid of coronavirus. And what about phase 3? So phase 3 right now expected to go into effect August 7th. We will see if that happens. The governor has made it clear that if he doesn't get the numbers he wants, he will not move the state into phase 3. So right now that's August 7th. We'll see if that timetable holds up. All right, let's go ahead and get to your morning headlines right now. Today, Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools plan to announce their plans for school this fall. Guilford County Schools says the board will vote on their final decision on July 28th. Governor Roy Cooper said school districts can move forward with Plan B, which is a mix of in-person and online learning. Districts can also go with Plan C, which is a virtual school option. The state needs to see all of the local districts' plans for the fall before the start of the new school year. When it comes to our state's coronavirus numbers, we're trending in the wrong direction. Percent positive tests is one of the rising trends. Dr. Mandy Cohen says she is keeping the state in phase 2 because of these numbers. As more people feel symptoms, more people are showing up at the hospital. Hospitalizations are up slightly, with confirmed patients topping 1,000, but Dr. Cohen says the state has the capacity to treat everyone in need. A big push is getting more people tested, especially those in communities without access to screening and elderly adults who have chronic conditions. Well, the football season for North Carolina A&T is no longer happening. The MEAC suspended all fall sports because of coronavirus concerns. We asked the ticket office what it means for season ticket holders. Unfortunately, you will not get your money back this season. Instead, season ticket holders can put that money toward basketball tickets or make a tax-deductible donation to the school. So that's going to bring us to our last conversation right now. What do you think about the MEAC's decision to cancel fall sports? Or really, for that matter, several conferences have announced that. The CIAA was one, the Patriot Conference. I know my school, alma mater, University of Connecticut, they're in the Big East Conference, and we all got an email yesterday that said that football will go on and that they're only going to do in-conference play, but they are considering canceling or postponing some smaller sports that maybe don't bring as much revenue. And really, they said this in the email, making it a money issue to the school. So, I mean, I know that schools have a broader picture to look at besides health and safety. They're also probably thinking about the football television contracts and, their licensing agreements and all that other stuff. So there's a lot to consider.
Yeah, definitely a lot to consider. I mean, I'm not surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if more conferences went to either the only in-conference play, or if they decided to delay the season until the spring or something like that. Because not only do you have to worry about the health aspect of, hey, these student athletes could spread the coronavirus amongst themselves and the team on the other team, but also to the campuses at large. And something that's been talked about a lot is, hey, they have to test these students, if not once a week, several times a week, and that could get really expensive. And there's some disparity between some big name colleges that can afford to pay that bill weekly, and then there are others that might not be able to. And so that could cause some issues as well. And the conferences haven't got together and agree on a testing schedule or any type of protocols. So there's a lot to be worked out. And I do have my doubts about, the typical football season being played for really anybody at this point. We'll have to kind of just wait and see how things, shake out. I hope at a minimum they maybe can play a couple of exhibition games just so we can see some college football. But we'll have to kind of just see what happens here.
Yeah, it is definitely a wait and see kind of situation, but I'm surprised more conferences didn't use a wait and see approach, wait until they got closer to the beginning of the seasons, because several of them had already put it off until September. And so I thought maybe they would go until like mid-August before really deciding to cancel altogether. But you're right, there were other factors that they probably looked at that I'm unaware of. But it just seems like, maybe we could have waited until like late August before, because what if it just, oh my gosh, we're all good. What do you do? Put it back? I mean, I don't think there's no snap of the finger. Obviously, that's a little TV magic, but it's not going to happen. But I am going to miss college football if it all goes away. And maybe I'll be drawn to other conferences who are playing because I'm going to want to watch some football, and there are several conferences that I'm not even aware of, like the Pac-10 conference. I'm familiar with the SEC, the Big East, the MEAC, the CIAA, ACC. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe I'll get into the West Coast leagues if they continue to play. So I don't know.
Or you do what I do, just watch old football games that your team won on the internet. I've been doing a lot of that lately just to try to get my feel.
That's so funny. Yeah, well, it's funny because now all the networks or conferences have their own networks, right? And so they'll only air the games in which they won. So it's like you kind of know where it's going to go. Let's see if other people are weighing in here, because I did ask if you guys think we're going to have fall sports. And Jason Hutchins says, as a season ticket holder for Appalachian State, I would be upset if they canceled the season and not offered either my money back or put it towards the next season. Yeah, my mom and dad buy season tickets to North Carolina A&T football every year. They did so this year. I have not told them what the university's plan is for refunds, which really is not a plan to refund your money. So I think they're going to be really disappointed by that because they enjoy Aggie football. They support A&T altogether because that's the university that they attended, but they don't go to basketball games ever. So this will be different for them, and I think that they'll probably end up donating it because that's the only other option for them. And they really weren't planning on going to football games this year anyway. They were just going to give me the tickets, so that means what for me? So yeah, Jason, I understand that. Denise says, canceling fall sports, in my opinion, is the most responsible decision that could be made. The lives of athletes are more important than the finances. And I agree with that. Let's see. Isaac says, I hope and pray for the coronavirus to be over. Oh, by the way, it's his birthday, he said, tomorrow. Happy birthday. I hope that you have a good one. And Jason adds in, that's why ACC and SEC is waiting, because they would lose hundreds of millions of dollars in TV contracts. See, Jason, Taran, you guys know more about the scope of football and all that's involved, more than I do. So
it's huge. It's huge, and again, those big schools can afford to test 100, 200 people, however large their program is, including the staff, all the time, several times a week if necessary. But if you're a smaller school, that becomes a very large financial burden, on top of the fact that you're probably not going to sell as many tickets as you usually would, even if you could have fans in the stands. And then it's going to be tough, tough to do for sure. And when you're dealing with college athletes, it's different than having professional athletes that you maybe can kind of put in solitude or in quarantine, kind of like what they're doing with the NBA right now. These are kids that have friends, they're going to go to parties, and they're also involved in a high contact sport where you are exchanging, sweats flying around and things like that. So I hope that something can be figured out, but I think it's going to be very, very difficult to do. And again, it's going to put a large financial stress, aside from the health issue, a large financial stress, especially on these smaller schools. Let's say if there's a scenario where, okay, we can have football, but you can't have fans in the stands. Well, if they can't sell tickets, I mean, they're just going to be just spending a lot of money without really getting much, if any, income. Like bigger schools will maybe still have the games on TV and get some income from that. We'll see. We'll see how things shake out.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Taran, and thank you, Jason, for sharing your expertise and helping me fill in blanks that I really don't understand. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up with a look at the 7-day forecast, which remains hot.
Yeah, that's it. Hot and muggy for the next week or so, and occasionally we'll have rain chances. The chance of the coverage of rainfall today is going to be a little bit higher than yesterday. I think we'll see right around a 60% chance of scattered showers and storms, and some of that activity will continue on into the evening as well. We could see some heavy rain in spots, some lightning, thunder. You know the deal this time of the year, before things wind down as we go deeper into the night. We'll keep the rain chance around 50 to 60% again for tomorrow as well.
Well, I'm crossing my fingers and my legs and everything else that I see a little bit of rain in my neighborhood, because it's just so dry, and we've actually had to take the sprinkler out and move it around the yard just to kind of keep it green, because right now it is looking bad. So a little bit of rain would help. All right, thank you guys so much for joining us on After GMS. Before we wrap up, we need to take a look at some of the best moments of the Good Morning Show. It's been a great week. But we don't have, oh no, just found out we don't have Best of GMS. So unfortunately you won't be able to see it now, but we'll hold it for next week. And in the meantime, I want you guys to stay safe and take care of each other and your families. Take care, everybody. So glad it is Friday. Just a lot to be happy about. Oh, well, Ed's dancing, so it's always
Well, it's
good.
not my Friday, but I'm excited for everybody else.
I appreciate working with you guys, holding it down with me while the other two ladies are on vacation.
Yeah, we're having fun.
Yeah, we are. I love the show Survivor. I can live without it for a little bit of a length of time.
Yeah.
But I can't go past April, then I'll start having convulsions in a different way. Now, I think one of you should be like good meteorologist, bad meteorologist, kind of like good cop, bad cop. One of you give us the good news only, and the other one, the humidity and all that other stuff. No, ma'am.
Oh, boy.
Taran, have you spotted any snakes?
Yeah, I've seen a few on trails when my wife and I go for runs and walks or something like that. And yes, we leave them alone. If the snake is laying across the trail, then it's your trail now, buddy. Like, you got it. I'm going to go the other way, and you have at it.
So, Taran, I didn't see you in the Milan fashion show. Did you miss your plane?
Well, I mean, they called me up, but, I had to work. So I was like, let me go to work. I'll get back to my modeling career, I guess, another time.
Got it.
Hey, at least they called you. I didn't get a call.
Well, you may have missed it. Sometimes, phone calls drop out.
I had it on mute. There you go.
It's a time delay, It's nighttime there, and you're at work already. I get it.